Martin Brundle's grid walk has been a beloved and iconic segment in Formula One coverage for many years. However, as the sport and its broadcasting evolve, the question arises whether this tradition should continue or whether it has served its purpose and it's time for a reevaluation. In this discussion, we will explore the merits of Brundle's grid walk and consider whether it still adds value to the Formula One viewing experience or if it's time to embrace new approaches in the ever changing world of sports coverage. What's going on, you guys? It is your boy, the American F1 fan, Eric Brundle here, and we're back with a video that I was debating on even doing, but I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I can see the advantages and disadvantages of Martin Brundle's grid walk, being a part of Formula One coverage. But I think I wanted to cover some of the reasons of yes, it should stay or no, it shouldn't. And I think it boils down to two main areas. Now, one of those areas I know is going to, get onto a lot of fans' nerves as far as, who we're talking about. But I feel like it does need to be talked about as far as, when it comes to that certain topic. But the first one I have, the reason why the grid walk has always been so popular, at least from my perspective, has been, the insight that we get from the engineers and from the drivers and from the teams. It's always been so great to hear, when we talk, when they, Martin talks to the engineers or drivers, you would kind of get insights going into the race, especially in the early going, when the grid walk first started, you would get so much more openness, from engineers and from the teams about, what strategies they were going to run, what they've done to the car, what kind of changes they've made, what kind of setups they've got on. But now as we progress, into the 21st century, we've seen a lot of teams like to, hide what they're doing. They're hiding their setups. They're hiding, what their cars look like. When we talk to engineers, they're very not wishy-washy, but they're more, they try not to give you too much information, but they give you just enough that you feel like you've got some kind of insight into what, the team is thinking. And I see on one hand how great it was back in the early inception of the grid walk, from 97 until I would say probably the early 2010s. You got a lot more openness and you would have a lot more drivers that would be involved in it. Whereas now, I think a lot of drivers, want to kind of focus on themselves during the race or, leading up to the race. They want to kind of, get their focus going, on what they need to do on the track, what, strategies the team is talking about using, particularly during the race. And you don't see as much talk coming from the drivers and engineers and team principals towards Martin Brundle like you used to in the past. Now, yes, we do get interviews from time to time, but I think it has fallen by the wayside over the years, since its very first inception. And now to bring up the big elephant into the room, it's the other reason I think, we have to question on whether or not it continues. Maybe we reevaluate how he does the grid walk, something along those lines. And that's celebrities. And I get it. There's a lot of F1 fans out there that could care less about, celebrities being on the grid. I could care less too. It's not a huge deal. I do like it when there are celebrities on the grid that are fans of Formula One, that really take a liking to the sport, and you can really see kind of the passion. The Tom Cruises. Tom has even driven a Formula One car before. Brad Pitt now with the movie that he's making. It really is cool to see those celebrities, out on the grid and, really kind of striking up a good conversation with Martin Brundle. But on the flip side to that, there are celebrities that are on the grid that, may not be accustomed to Martin Brundle or haven't done their homework as far as what Martin Brundle does. And so when he comes up to interview him, they don't necessarily maybe either know what to expect, maybe they get caught off guard, or I think sometimes even Martin Brundle just looks for the most uncomfortable interview that he can possibly do on the grid to make it that viral moment and to, kind of bring the grid walk back into, discussion and so that they're, folks in Formula One are talking about it. I mean, we just saw this past weekend where Machine Gun Kelly, which granted, I know he's not a huge fan of Formula One. He knows Lewis Hamilton, that's about it. And he even said it in his interview. Um, really, Machine Gun Kelly, Martin Brundle thinks that that's the guy you're going to go to really talk about Formula One, and he's going to give some insight as to why he loves the sport. No, even I know that Machine Gun Kelly was nothing more than to see how much of an awkward interview he could possibly get and make it a viral moment and make grid walks talked about again. Whereas, we don't see the grid walk talked about as much as it was, from 97 in its inception to the early 2000s. Now, the thing is, celebrities have always been a part of Formula One and been on the grid and stuff like that. That's nothing new. And it's funny to me that there are some fans out there that think all of a sudden celebrities being on the grid is this thing that's happened, in the 2020s and 2010s, and it's something brand new. It's been around for a long time in Formula One. So it's not any different to when it was before. We just now have the grid walks that I think shed a bigger light on celebrities being on the grid. So like I said, I'm not saying yes, they should get rid of the grid walks, or no, they should they should keep the grid walks. I'm just saying maybe it's time to change it up a little bit, add a little bit more flavor to it. Martin does a good job with them, don't get me wrong, but maybe it's time to change it up a little bit. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about Martin Brundle's grid walks and whether or not they should stick around, or maybe the format should change a little bit. So let me know in the comment section down below, guys. And as always, please slap a like on these videos. It helps this video get out to more and more Formula One fans. So hit that like button for me. And guys, if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. We are on a mission to get to 500 subscribers before the end of the 2023 year. So guys, help me out, hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And guys, for the American F1 fan, I'm Eric Ringel, signing off.